Askreddit thread. What's the most fucked up thing someone has confessed to you in confidence? That she sometimes would get blackout drunk and meet random dudes from the internet in hopes that they'd murder her. Oh, that's yeah, that's pretty fucked. I personally know a woman in her 30s that arranges gangbangs in which she is the one getting banged, and she films the whole thing. Now, this in itself isn't that weird. People like different things. But she rapes herself with Rolfla so that she is just barely conscious during the... Oh, she date rapes. Okay, so there's just no space between the date and rape. But she date rapes herself with some drug so that she's just barely conscious during the event. Now that's some serious dedication to living out a rape fantasy. I'm both impressed and horrified. Damn, first one was a strong one. I don't think anything can really top... I don't know, Reddit always surprised me. I want to say nothing can top that one, but... Reddit is a scary place. Similar to a guy I know that would meet shady guys on Craigslist for sex and hope they would kill him every night. He went out to meet one, he left a note on his bed if he never came back. What? Was this the same note every time, or did he leave writing letters before he went out? I think after the first couple of times, I'd just go with the form of letter to fill in the blanks. Dear blank, it's in the morning, afternoon, night. I've gone off to have casual sex with whom I met on Craigslist. If I don't return, it's because I'm dead. Please tell I love him or her. P.S. There's something in the fridge if you get hungry. Worst Mad Lib ever. Dear penis. It's 4/20/666/2069 at 69 in the morning, afternoon, night, and I've gone off to have casual sex with farts whom I met on Craigslist. If I don't return, it's because I'm dead. Please tell Poop I love him or her. P.S. There's boobs in the fridge if you get hungry. That's a great Mad Lib. I dated a really sketchy guy for a long time who I still look back and question. Me and him would get off roleplay the idea that he dated, fucked, and eventually killed girls, and was planning to do the same thing to me. We roleplayed this a little out of the bedroom too. Roleplay as him calmly telling me how he did what he did, how he gets away with it, and why he's keeping me around for so long, etc. He was very good at improvising details and keeping a straight face. This is fucked up, but to this day, part of me believes that he was telling the truth. I always think back and mull over the little recollections in my head, like things he said that I never really thought about before, and get this dark feeling that I escaped something serious. Alright, let's go into the next one. I guess it's not a confession really, but some guys once told me the most fucked up thing, as if it was no big deal. I grew up in the military. When I was in high school, we moved across country to a house that was in development not far from the base. I made new friends, as kids do, and one day I was running around the neighborhood with a few other teens. This was long before the internet. A few of the guys decided they're going to go to this other guy's house and hang out. They ask if I want to come, and the conversation goes like this. Hey, you want a blowjob? What? Hey, blowjob. Gary's sister's cute and she'll blow anybody. If she likes you, she'll let you fuck her too. Yeah, that's his real name because fuck him. Sure, 15-year-old virgin me is really starting to like it here. We get to Gary's house and knock on the door. Gary answers and invites us in. The other guy mentions that I want a blowjob, teasing and giving me a hard time like teen boys do. We walk into the living room and there's Gary's dad on the couch with his pants around his ankles, this little girl giving him a blowjob. And Carrie tells me she'll take care of me when she's done, and gives me this smile like, it still creeps me the fuck out thinking about it now almost 30 years later. This girl is young, like very young. I found out later that she was 9. All previous excitement drains out of me as I watch what's unfolding. The grown-up on the couch smiles and greets us, the other boys all watching with this look that stuck with me. It took me maybe a minute to make an excuse and get out of there. I went home and just kind of sat there in shock for a while. Eventually, a couple of the guys got knocked on my door and just wanted to hang out. They asked me if I was okay and basically wanted to make sure I wasn't a snitch. My dad and stepmom came home from work later, both military, and at dinner they could tell something was off. I mean, seriously, that was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't take long for me to spill every entire thing to my dad. He calls the cops, and I end up having to talk to the police several times. Gary and his dad got arrested along with 2 other neighborhood kids and a grown-up guy I'd never met. I don't know what happened with the girl. I never saw her again. We lived there for 1 school year before moving several miles away to another school district. That year was hell for me. I got hell from the other kids and got the shit beat out of me a couple times for being a rat. Okay. I think that tops the first one. That's fucking horrifying. Not just the molestation, but that you were the only one to have enough of a conscience and know it was sick and wrong. Alright, on to the next one. My friend was so terrified of a roach in her apartment, she convinced some random guy outside to come in and kill it in exchange for a blowjob. I don't think anything can beat that second story. Girl stuck a Lego piece in her vagina. Couldn't get it out. It came out within the week. Everything is awful. Everything is shit when you're part of a team. I guess you could say the excitement was building. At my 11th birthday, a girl told me that one of her scout leaders had something to her. Apparently, his younger brother had a crush on her and they'd had a falling out. The brother that did the thing to her was 17/18 and she was 10. Okay. A friend of mine confessed to me that shortly after we met, he shot a man and that the guy later died from complications due to the injuries he inflicted. Was it by accident or just felt like it? More the latter than the former. It was his sister's ex-boyfriend. He found out all about the abuse she went through and went a bit far in anger. Did anyone find out it was him, or is he a free man? He is a free man, if a paranoid one. Worked with a guy who admitted to me that he watched his abusive stepfather die of a heart attack and didn't call 911 until he was sure he was dead. Sounds quite well adjusted to me. Said it casually while drinking a Coke. And context is everything. Sprite is more appropriate drink for such edgy matters. I used to think so too. But for money, Dr. Pepper is what you should be drinking if you want to have a life-changing conversation. But I may have a bias as I am affiliated soft drink. Dr. Bukkake. Is Dr. Bukkake available outside of Japan? Widely, but it takes some arranging. But I do make house calls. If you want to know what a bukkake is, just Google it. I think the same calls for SWOT analysis. Alright, let's go into the next one. I think this is going to be a short video. A friend confessed to me 10 plus years ago that someone raped his sister, so he found the guy and killed him. Fred never heard anything about it. Still freaks me out to this day that it was that easy. Pretty sure my brother would have done that. When I was 12, a friend's older brother met me in the woods on my way home from school and cornered me. He was going on about how the girl didn't like me and started trying to touch me. I kicked him in the balls and got away, then ran the rest of the way home. Was very close anyways. Told my mom and brother, 4 years older than me. When I got home, bro went running out of the house. The friend never talked to me again. I saw her brother the next day and he was very visibly fucked up. If he had actually done anything, I'm pretty sure he'd be dead. That just seems like a normal reaction from a brother. Speaking of someone who has 2 sisters. My friend's narcissistic/insane mother put her in the mental hospital for made-up reasons as a young teenager, where she ended up getting raped. My friend then burnt her mom's house down. When they started to rebuild it, she burnt it down again. Wow. Normally, I wouldn't condone arson, but good for her. Damn. Yeah. Her mom's dead now, not as a result of the fire or anything, and she's cool with it. Burnt her house down, then did it again. So tell me again why she was put in the mental hospital. Seems hard to believe. Her mother claims she was suicidal and schizophrenic. My friend was underage at the time. She may have also had some pull being a wealthy woman in a small southern town. Being locked up in a mental hospital with no valid reason and being raped in there is enough to make someone do some crazy things. Hell, that's enough to make you mental. Well, yeah, pretty much. And now a bit of backstory. We know that my grandpa was born in 1922, so he would have been of age for the war. So he would have been of age for the war. 1922? Oh, okay, yeah, for World War II. I was about to say, World War I ended in like 1918 or somewhere around then. But if you were born in 1922, yeah, you'd be around the age for war. World War II, which started around 1940, I think. But my... Actually, it was 1939, but U.S. didn't get involved until like the mid-40s. Early 40s. But my grandpa was always insistent he never participated, and tried to hush up our questions. Ooh. Skip to him being pretty drunk one night. Skip to him being pretty drunk one night when we went to visit my grandparents. My grandpa told me to go to the other room with him, and my parents were already going to bed and everything. I'm in Grandpa's room, and he pulls out a small chest and opens it, showing me a bunch of photos and old World War II Army gear, including his old helmet. I was pretty astonished, as he never talked about that time. Out of nowhere, he asked me for my confidence, and I said, of course, safe with me. He starts telling me that he landed on Omaha Beach on D-Day as part of the 1st Infantry Division, or the Big Red One. Oh, that sucks. He started telling me that the things he saw, and I was terrified. Apparently, when he came off the landing craft, the door jammed and only went about halfway down, exposing the soldiers inside without letting them out. Some guys panicked and tried to go over the side, but were shot down. As the crew members were trying to fix the door, machine guns turned on the exposed landing craft and pretty much wiped out everyone on board. My grandpa went up and over the side with 2 pals of his, successfully made it into the surf without being hit. At this point, he started crying, and he asked me if I knew what artillery does when it hits, and I said, I guess. Him and his friend made it up to the beach, miraculously, and onto a small bluff to take cover. But a shell hit about 10 meters away from them. It almost knocked my grandpa out, but when he started to recover from the shock, he realized that both his friends had been hit. He said that one of them was still alive, but had been cut almost in half, and was squirming and slowly dying. The other friend, his best friend whom enlisted with my grandpa, had his face blown off and tried to speak, but only made inhuman and awful sounds before he died several minutes later. My grandpa was pinned, still trying to recover from the shock, and the machine gun fire was heavy, so he couldn't go out to comfort or try to help his friends, so he had to sit there and watch them die. My grandpa started to cry uncontrollably, and I hugged him. I was absolutely terrified by what he had been through. I was only 12 to 13 at the time, but I understood why he didn't tell anyone. When he calmed down a bit, he told me never tell anyone because that was his burden to bear. He was awfully drunk, but I think he truly meant that, so I haven't told anyone. Oh, that sucks. This isn't fucked up, it's just sad. He couldn't help any of it. Poor guy. A bridge quote from Smash. War isn't hell. Only bad people go to hell, but everyone has to deal with war. It's such a good quote, I feel it's worth it to post the unabridged version. Hawkeye. War isn't hell. War is war, and hell is hell. And of the two, war is a lot worse. How do you figure, Hawkeye? Easy, father. Tell me, who goes to hell? Sinners, I believe. Exactly. There are no innocent bystanders in hell. War is chock full of them. Little kids, cripples, old ladies. In fact, except for some of the brass, almost everyone involved is an innocent bystander. Huh. Yeah, that generation kept a tight lid on most of the stuff from war, which is why, when my grandfather started to tell his story one evening, just randomly at dinner, my dad jumped up, got something to write, and wrote it all down. It was all about what exactly he did in the war, that he got shot through the stomach 2 months in and was on the last hospital ship out of Norway/Sweden. He left behind everyone he knew in the military, and they all died. A couple of years later, he's on his deathbed, and he tells my mom about that one time when he killed someone in the war. 2 enemy soldiers had seen him hide a bomb crater. There were bomb craters everywhere, and he knew they were coming after him. They were one crater over, so he pulled the pin on his grenade, waited, and threw it, and he killed them. He cried and said he was so afraid he wasn't going to heaven because he had killed someone, that they would wait for him at the gates, and he was so ashamed and sorry. My mom comforted him as best as she could, and he died a month later. That was one of his last good days. My grandfather was German, by the way. Well, that's a terrible D-Day experience, but anyone storming up those beaches, oh, they must have all been so scared. Back when I was in high school, some kid I knew told me that he fantasized about shooting up the place all the time, and that if he were ever to act on said fantasies, he would spare me and my girlfriend because he thought we were cool. Never looked at him the same way after that, but at least I knew he would never kill me, I guess. Did you ever feel like he was the type of person to actually go through with it? He seemed capable of it. He was a diagnosed psychopath and whatnot, and he told me that he would have liked to do it, but he didn't want to deal with all the jail time and infamy that would come with such a stunt. He just didn't think it was worth the trouble, apparently. I think that often is one thing that separates people who do it from the normal crowd. No, it separates motivated psychopaths from the unmotivated. Just do it. Oh my god. I think even Shy might say, I don't know, man. Maybe think this one over. Let your dreams remain dreams. Yesterday you said tomorrow, and that's justifying. Yesterday you said tomorrow. There's a tomorrow today. Just think it through. My old roommate seemed on good terms with her dad. He came over to fix things. We'd go to his house for cookouts and stuff, etc. He seemed reasonably normal with some maybe alcoholic tendencies. She confided in me a few months later that he had raped her for years as a child, and still somehow she sees him all the time like he didn't destroy her childhood and leave her traumatized. Wow. Did anyone else in her family know this was happening? Yes, apparently he helped himself to a lot of the young women and kids in the family. Do anything to someone long enough and people will consider it normal, I guess. That's just sad. My birth father told me... Okay, this is going to be the last one. My birth father told me he wasn't sure I was his after drinking a few too many beers. He said it didn't matter. He loved me anyway, but I'm pretty sure I'm his. We look a lot alike. Edit. I guess an explanation makes sense. I was adopted as a baby by another couple. When I was 18, I got in touch with my birth family. My mom had been a really young mother of 2 already, and she was also a drug addict. My dad, the guy in the story, was also into hard drugs and alcohol. They were young in a small town in the 80s and had both never had great lives. Well, anyway, long story short, my birth mom had told me when I got in touch with her that my birth father didn't actually care to get in touch with me. I didn't care at the time. I took it at face value. Then, one day, a young girl requested me as a friend on Facebook. Turns out she was my younger sister on my father's side. None of what my birth mother had told me was true. So I started talking to my dad on the phone a lot, and eventually he and my younger sister came out to Arizona to visit me. He told me late one night, after a few too many beers, that he didn't understand the adoption process at the time. And the only reason he went through with it was because he didn't think he had a choice. And he thought there was a possibility I wasn't actually his. He said that when he saw my picture, he changed his mind. He was pretty certain I was his, and that even if it wasn't, it didn't matter. I was his now. It was a sweet conversation in reality. Also, I see a lot of people commenting to say that we should have a DNA test, or that we could look a lot alike and still not be related. It's not so much just eye color, hair color, etc. We have the same face. I'm literally a female version of him mixed with a little bit of my mother. I don't know. Maybe it's true, but I don't want a DNA test. Well, that doesn't seem so bad. Not anywhere near as bad as all the other ones I read on this list. Okay, that's enough of this depressing subreddit.